Hey friends, it's Aya, and welcome back to another Motherbound Dev Diary. It's been a couple of weeks as per usual, and I do have some nice exciting things to show off in today's episode. Of course, as you can see, the very first thing is that I've made the title screen a little bit more mother-like. I've made this Motherbound logo. Some of it's a little bit custom, but not entirely. Obviously, Motherbound as a logo never appears in the original game, but yes, this is the Motherbound logo as it stands right now. I might update it. This is one of those things I'm a bit uncertain about, bringing this into the Earthbound style. I kind of want to maintain some of that mother charm in a weird way, and this logo definitely does that. But who knows, maybe I will end up using the main Earthbound logo and making that more Motherboundy. Who knows? I was even tempted to use mother font here and then the word bound be the Earthbound font. I don't know. There's lots of ways I can do this, but this is what I have for now. Let's go ahead and load the game. So we are here in Podunk. There are a few things here in Podunk, specifically in the drugstore for me to be showing. And then we are going to go down to the cemetery for one quick trip, and then we're going to make some progression through the story. So we are here where we left off last time. We have the zoo key after returning Pippi to the mayor. So let's go ahead into the drugstore, and we're going to see a few new additions over here in the drugstore. We have this fella here, we have an ATM machine, and we have a telephone. So let's go ahead and first of all, we're going to do things in a very specific order here to show off all the features as they work. So the first thing we're going to do, we have $1,000 with us right now. If we go ahead and withdraw, so what the ATM currently does, rather than letting you deposit or withdraw, it just withdraws the entire amount in the ATM into your pocket. That's because I haven't really built out the full ATM yet. This is just here to facilitate the telephone. But before we do that, let's go ahead and win a quick fight against one of the zombies down here in South Podunk. And I do have a reason for doing this, so let's quickly fight this zombie fella here. Just defeat him. Which means anyone who has played Mother or Earthbound knows what has just happened is an amount of money has been deposited into Nintendo's bank by his father. So we still have 1,500. Let's go ahead and head back up to the drugstore. So now we're going to go ahead and use the phone to call Dad, and let's see what Dad has to say. Deposited 512 into your bank account. Taking away what you've spent, there's 12 left. Spend your money wisely. He'll then save the game for you and then go to sleep. Cool, so we now have 1,500, but there should be 12 in our ATM. And so yeah, that's the entire phone stroke early stages of the ATM system working. That's basically how the phone works. Dad's phone calls also, in the original Mother game, tell you how far each of your party members are away from leveling up. Probably going to add that. It's one of those features that I'm not sure I ever really liked. I just like the ability to go to the state screen and see it. So I might just add it to the state screen instead of making it a thing you have to call Dad about. I'm not sure that's one of those things where I'm happy to diverge from what Mother did to make it more Earthboundy, but I'm interested in what people think. Now, one thing in Mother is that the department store top floor has a pet shop where you go to buy a canary chick. We don't have a pet shop here in this drugstore, so I had to kind of make a decision about how I'm going to handle this. Either just because of the canary chick, we do the full department store. But I really like what we have here, these vibes we have here with these two little shopkeepers. These sell everything that the department store does between them. So I decided we're going to have this NPC here for now. And he'll tell you he found a young canary chick. And I'm going to say, no, I won't take it. And he's going to say, well, I'll have to just take care of it myself then. Or you can go ahead and take it from him. Oh. That was interesting. Okay, cool. I've resolved most of the menuing bugs when playing with the controller, but clearly not all of them, so I think that was specifically an issue in my dialogue system. So basically what had happened with in Godot, my input mappings were duplicated for controller specifically, not for keyboard, so sometimes it would try to do two inputs at the same time and cause some bugginess. I've resolved that in most places, but I think I've overlooked it in the dialogue system, so that's another place for me to fix that. I can actually raise that as an issue, and I'll be showing you how I do that afterwards. So anyway, this fella now here has given us the canary chick. So as you can see, we now have the zoo key. Let's have a look. What happens when you look at the canary chick? I don't remember what I put here. Ah, a young chick found by a man in the drugstore. That's not suspicious whatsoever. Okay, cool. So that's everything to show off in terms of these interactables. We've set up the ATM, we've set up the telephone. The ATM kind of, there's still work to be done in the ATM system, but we've set up the telephone. And we've also introduced the fella that gives you the canary chick, ready to set that little bit of plot up. So now I'm actually going to head down to the cemetery. So we are back here in the cemetery where we found Pippi before. And there's not anything truly special to show down here, but it's in the spirit of just showing off everything that I do. I have made the second overworld enemy sprite. It's not great, admittedly. I've turned on invincibility in debug mode so that enemies don't chase me right now, so I can just find... Okay, well there's one over in the trees there, but that's not really useful. But here we have the gang zombie. Yeah, there's a few of them around here. Yeah. He's clearly based on a member of the Runaway Five, just recolored to look like the gang zombie. I'm going to make him a little bit nicer, but I'm kind of learning sprite work as I go here. It's not my strongest suit. So let's go ahead and turn off invincibility mode and let him... There we go. I had to quickly tab out to do that. But here we have a gang zombie. Let's go ahead and fight him. And, yep. Obviously we're massively over-leveled because I'm in a debug mode right now. But these are the gang zombies. Chasing you through the cemetery. Cool, that's what I wanted to show off down here. Let's go back up to Podunk. So we are back here now in Podunk. We have our zoo key and our canary chick, the two key items needed for the next few stages of the main story. Let's go ahead and actually do those, shall we? So, I've messed up this sign here. I should probably fix that at some point. Interesting. That sign is very inconvenient. Anyway, as everyone knows, if we go up here, we go to this house and then go to the left. We have a pathway through the trees here. And this pathway through the trees will... Oh, some great sprite work there, Aya. Well done. You haven't overlooked anything at all. So let's go up here. And we should transition to this next area. Again, I've got invincibility mode turned on so the enemies won't start chasing me around. But as you can see, quite a few enemies are spawning. These are the same enemies we've seen in the other areas of the game. But yes, this is a new area. This is familiar to anyone who knows Mother. But let's go ahead and cross this bridge here. And let's make our way on over. And here we have Canary Village. Canary Village has an interesting aesthetic to me. Being called Canary Village and being filled with canaries, it brings to mind lush green pastures, and all the trees are dead. I've stuck to the trees being dead in Canary Village as they are in the game. I'm admittedly not the biggest fan, but I've stuck to them being there anyway. Maybe I'll make them actually nice, luscious green trees eventually. Anyway, you just caught a glimpse of it. I am currently using an incredibly temporary placeholder sprite for the canary folk in Canary Village while I make something a bit nicer. So what you're about to see is by no means the final sprite work for the canaries. It's just something I've put in place just for now, because I'm not very good at sprite work and I'm still learning, so hopefully I can make something better in the near future. But here we have the canaries. They look like weird deformed chocobo, honestly. They're not the best work I've ever done, but they are canaries, clearly. Anyway, they won't talk to you. The canaries don't speak the human language, and they just roam around and are silent. But if we make our way up through Canary Village here, we have all of these monuments. Did I add the fella here? No, there's an NPC here you can talk to, but I've forgotten to add him. But we have these monuments as well. But if we make our way through the famous hidden passage of Canary Village up here, we will meet Laura, and Nintendo will return the canary chick, and the canary will begin to sing. That is the second melody. Nintendo has memorized the song, and the canary chick has gone from our inventory, and we can, just like in the game, talk to Laura as many times as we want. And she will keep singing the song for us. I have now added a state screen to, added the melodies to the state screen. So on the bottom right there you can see the melodies that we have, and we now have 2 out of 8. How wonderful. So let's go ahead and leave Canary Village now. We have the zoo key, so obviously Usually what our next steps would be is to go and investigate, see what's going on, but we've already been told by the mayor that we have the zoo key, we should go and check out what's going on in the zoo. So let's do that. We can go up here, and we can navigate over this bridge, past all these enemies who are leaving us alone quite nicely. Wally is going for a swim. I'm still kind of working out the enemy spawning mechanics. I need to figure out exactly how to get them to always spawn in walkable land. They don't always spawn in walkable land. I thought I'd had that figured out, but apparently not. It's still happening. The enemy spawning is weird and difficult, but I'm getting that sorted as I can. Anyway. And we are now just north of Canary Village, out here next to the zoo. So everyone who played Mother remembers this really, really long pathway just next to a fence here. Lots of enemies spawn and you're fighting lots of strong, annoying enemies. But eventually you make your way here to the zoo. And there's a monkey outside. This is one of those weird key door situations in Mother. You need the key to get into the zoo, but you don't just use the key on the gate. In fact, you have to give it to the monkey. So let's go ahead and do that. Eek, 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 eek. The monkeys speak the monkey language, and he will steal the key and go into the zoo, meaning we can now go into the zoo. So let's do that. So the zoo is almost fully complete. The basic layout is all here. We're going to take a wander through the zoo as I talk a bit about it. So there's a bit of custom sprite work. These fences here are mostly custom. I've kind of ripped them from the fences in 3D, but I've had to make some changes to them because there are no fences that just go into the floor like this. They are on top of walls, so I've had to make them a little bit more like the zoo. And of course this sign here is custom sprite work. As you can tell, it's a bit out of place and bad. We have these broken fences here. I've actually made it so you can go inside of them. I don't know if I like that or not. Obviously the fences do stop you, but the broken bits you can climb in. I always kind of wish when playing Mother that I could climb into the broken bits of the fences and maybe find presents or interact with whatever animals are in there. I don't think there are any animals actually in the broken fence zoo parts. But right now you can go in there. Just a little bit of flavour, I guess. I don't think it's really going to change much of the game, and I'm interested in what people think about that. It's just one of those things that when I played Mother a lot, before, when I first played it, I would just wish I could go in the broken zoo fences. I'm not sure why I wish that, but I did. You'll notice a distinct lack of enemy spawns. Every enemy that appears in the zoo is not an enemy that appears in Earthbound. You know, you've got elephants, you've got tigers, and lots of other types of enemies. None of them are in Earthbound, which means it's all work I need to make. It's all custom work I have to do. And I haven't done that just yet, but it's one of those things that are on the list to get going eventually. And honestly soon, before I move on to areas beyond Podunk, you know, when I start building out Marysville or Magicant or anything like that, I want to have Podunk like 100% done, including all enemies, NPCs, all of that. So this will be done in the near future because Podunk is getting close to completion now. There's only, I think, 2 areas left for me to map out and a few plot hooks, and then Podunk's done, so it's getting really close to being done. And then we're going to move on to Magicant or Marysville. I'm not sure which one I'm doing next. Obviously, Magicant story-wise makes sense to do next if I'm building them out, areas out in the order in which you visit them in the story, which is what I've kind of been doing so far. But Magicant is going to be a lot of work, mostly artwork. Magicant's tileset don't really exist at all in Earthbound, so I need to make it. And that's going to be hard. Marysville, on the other hand, I'm planning to use the Tucson sprite sets, so Marysville will look a bit like Tucson. Anyway, as we get to the end of the zoo here, the, I guess, second dungeon, I suppose, of Mother. It depends if you consider the cemetery a dungeon. I kind of do. We get to this office building. Let's go ahead on inside. So, worth noting that the office here, I haven't made all of the rooms. These rooms can kind of have presents in, and also enemies spawn. You can spawn ants and mice in the office. I haven't added those just yet, so we're just going to make our way on up. Again, these doors I haven't added anything to. but this door I haven't either, but this one I have. Now, the one distinct thing you're probably noticing when you play Mother is that there's no actual music in this office. It's actually just a high-pitched ringing sound to represent the, I guess, radio signal that's going out to send all the animals crazy. I don't like that sound. Whenever I play the game, it just hurts my ears a lot. So I've kind of kept this creepy music track here, which has a bit of trivia about that I'll go over shortly, I suppose. But I've kind of just kept it. I don't know, I might do the weird siren-y thing, but I quite like the vibe you get from this music anyway. This music is called Hidden Track. It actually doesn't appear in Earthbound, to my knowledge, but it exists in the game's files. So as a result, most rips of the game's music include it. So when I listened to it, it just gave me that vibe of, oh, this is what the zoo should feel like. This is the music we should be using in the zoo, because in Mother, in the original game, the music used in the zoo is the same as the cemetery, and I didn't like the vibe it gave the zoo this time if I use the music that's also in the cemetery. So I used this track, and I think it works really nicely. Let me know what you think though. Anyway, we have this blue capsule here, representing the next boss. So, are we ready to fight it? Yes, of course we are. We're massively over-leveled. What am I thinking? Let's go ahead and interact with it. And a Starman Jr. draws near. This is our first encounter with a Starman Jr. Let's go ahead and just fight it. Kill it in one hit because we're massively over-leveled. And gain our experience. And now that the Starman Jr. is defeated, the weird music has stopped. And we've got a much nicer vibe in here. I don't know if enemies are still going to spawn. They do in Mother, but I like the idea of the enemies only spawning before the siren going off, just like in the zoo. And that's it. That's all we have so far. So it's worth noting that the next thing the player would need to do is head on back up through the zoo. And they could use breadcrumbs to trail back if they wanted to, but there's a monkey in this cage here that you need to read this sign to interact with. Oh, I haven't put collision on this sign. That is a mistake. There's a monkey here, and it sings the third melody, which I haven't implemented yet, so that's one of the next things I'm going to do. Anyway, that's about it. That's everything that I have done in the last couple of weeks of development of Motherbound, as well as a few bits and bug fixes, but nothing crazy. There's just one last thing for me to show. So I've kind of been tracking my progress a little bit using a Trello board from the start, but I've decided I'm actually going to really use this thing to track how I'm going. This project's getting to a point now where there are lots of moving parts and lots of things for me to be looking at and remembering, and it's really important I actually track that work a lot better. So I've built the Trello board out to be more useful to me. You can see here's all the things I've finished, the things that I'm currently working on, and it wasn't until I really fleshed this out I realised how much I have in progress that I need to really get through before I start picking up new stuff. And then yeah, the things that need scoping, things that are scoped out and ready to start working on, and then any issues I spot in the meantime. So this is kind of where I would leave things such as the sprites that I found missing earlier, or any other kind of bugs that I could quickly drop in here as a quick thing to fix. This Trello board is public. There will be a link in the description of this video where you can go and view it yourself and kind of see where things are at a given time. You can't make or comment on cards or anything like that. It's just a place to view my progress. So if you're at all interested, there's a link in the description where you can go ahead and take a look at that if you're ever curious about where I am with things. Anyway, that's about it. I don't think there's anything left for me to talk about, so for now I'm going to leave it off here. Once again, want to thank everyone who's been commenting on the last couple of videos. It's really, really nice to get the support, and I will see you all again in a few weeks with hopefully some more cool updates. Thank you all so much.